and then as it gets into the schedule. And I've seen this from afar, how good, not just how good, how great this conference is. And I've got a lot of friends in it that I've coached with, from Carroll to Southern Oregon, and then also obviously getting to know Chuck in my time at South Dakota. Just very familiar with the type of people that are in this league and the coaches and what we're going to have to do, because it's going to be a dogfight every week. But we're fired up for it. Like I said, I can't say enough about being back in Montana. It's awesome. I think I saw more family members in the last 4 weeks than I did in 4 years in South Dakota, which kind of weird. Nobody wanted to come visit us in South Dakota. I don't know why, Chuck. That's, but like I said, I'm very appreciative. Coach Bandiste has been like a father, and just appreciative of all he's done. My dad, obviously, as well, and my family. And Joe Glenn, like I said, I've been very blessed with some head coaches that I've gotten to work for, and now to get that chance, I'm very thankful of them. And again, thankful to Rocky Mountain College for giving me this chance. Thank you.
Chuck Morrell, head football coach and athletic director at Montana Tech. A couple of thanks from my end. First of all, the athletic directors that are in here, Bruce and Christian and Charlie, an opportunity to spend a lot of time with you guys. One thing you find out very quickly is that every department at every college or university in the Frontier Conference cares a lot about football. Everybody's invested. Everybody's working on facilities. And so there's some great leadership in the departments out there, and I just appreciate I've learned a lot from those guys here in the last 18 months, and they really mean a ton to me. Second of all, I want to thank my staff. Pete Sturbick is returning as his third year as my offensive coordinator. I'll put Pete up against anybody X's and O's wise. He's done an unreal job at Montana Tech leading us and switching things up. And then B.J. Campbell, my defensive coordinator, is his 7th year of working for me, has become an unbelievable defensive mind. And so I appreciate those guys. And also Doug Schliemann, our assistant head coach, going on his 20th year at Montana Tech. So the only person that's outlived him is Bob Green, and Coach Green's still running around Tech every day. So hear him in the hallways. Lastly, I'd like to thank my family. It's very unique. Coach Petrino and I were sitting on the sidelines at the Shrine game. My oldest daughter just turned 10 years old, and it is funny. It scared the bejesus out of me. Guys are running out onto the field, and she is naming off every school in the Frontier Conference that these guys are going to. And I'm like, what have I done? What kind of kids am I raising? My daughter's naming off every kid. The point, and I know Bruce made this in our meeting earlier today, at the Shrine game, you see how many of those student athletes are playing at Frontier Conference schools, and it's really kudos to the Frontier. At Montana Tech, obviously we're looking forward to a great season. I know we're about to release here. I know Wally here in a few minutes will release the polls, and it is the most unscientific preseason poll that we could put out there, and as Kent would often say, don't take it to Vegas. Montana Tech in 2014 was at the bottom of the conference. I think we were picked last or second to last going into last season. Ended up being fortunate enough to win the conference. And so that tells you really on a week in and week out basis, it really doesn't matter who you play. And I look at every one of these coaches up here, and I absolutely think they have the quality and the talent on their squads right now to be able to win the league this year. And so that's the challenges that we're presented with on a weekly basis. The fortunate thing for Montana Tech right now is we do return a lot of experience. I have a number of guys coming back. I tell my guys all the time, I could really care less who starts. Starting is not very relevant to me because throughout the course of the season, the attrition that's going to take place, we're going to beat each other up, and guys are going to get hurt, and we're going to lose guys. So depth is critical, and we feel like we've got some good depth. We've got 15 guys on defense that played a lot for us last year, and we've got 16 guys on offense that played a lot for us last year. So a couple of key guys on defensive line for us. Ty Sanders, I think, is one of the best defensive linemen in the conference. There's a bunch of good ones, but Ty's a great one for us. And then also Luke Benz was an outstanding defensive end a year ago for us, and Luke will be a senior coming up, and Ty will be a junior for us. Linebacking core, we do lose a big one there. David Meese was a 4-year starter for us, but Drew Schliemann returns this year. He's a Butte, Montana native. Drew's an outstanding player for us. And then in the secondary, I've got a number of guys that have a lot of experience back in the secondary this year, and we'll be led back there by Gunnar Kaiser, our free safety out of Spokane. On our offense, our offensive line, probably what I'm most excited about as a coach, you work so hard to recruit and develop your offensive line, and it is hard to get those guys on our campus and keep them there for any Frontier Conference school, just because anybody that's 6'5" and 285 pounds is going to get a lot of opportunities and a lot of scholarship offers. But we are returning 6 out of our top 7 offensive linemen this year, and that's a big benefit for us to have that much playing experience coming back at that position. At quarterbacks, we're looking forward to seeing what our quarterbacks can do. We really didn't play with quarterbacks very often throughout the course of the season last year. Quinn McQuarrie transferred to us last year, was our starter going into the season. Really only played in 3 or 4 games last year. Dawson Reardon also. Both those guys will be juniors for us, and really didn't step on the field a bunch last year, and that's where I give our coaching staff so much credit. We had to get really creative last year, ran a bunch of wildcat items, did a bunch of other things just to get by, and so we're looking forward to our offense probably be a little bit different with those guys at the helm. At tight end, we do return Andrew Loudon back. Andrew is the guy that stepped in. He's played quarterback in the past, ended up getting pushed into quarterback duty last year. We feel like he's an outstanding tight end for us. And then wide receiver-wise, I'm excited about a couple of our guys. Zach Bunny, another Butte, Montana native, one of the faster kids, I think, in the league, and is very explosive and a great returner for us. And then finally, I suppose I should talk about our running back. We're lucky enough to have a really good one, a very special individual. Nolan Saraceni led the country in the conference in rushing a year ago, and especially with the items, the different play sets we had to get into, we really featured him a year ago. And so coming back for his senior year, he looks great, and we're excited to have him at the helm. So with that, we open at September 3rd with Carroll College, and hearing Coach Van Diest up here talk a little bit, I just think there's a staff that's been consistently together for a long time, and Coach Van Diest has got one of the best win-loss records and one of the best home field advantages, arguably in the nation, over his tenure at Carroll College. So it's going to be an extremely difficult challenge for us to go up there and try to fight our butts off and find a way to win on September 3rd. But appreciate you guys being out here. Thanks.
Well, thank you, coaches. Before Wally closes, what an opportunity the young men in the West Coast, Pacific Northwest, Rocky Mountains, the Midwest. If you're a parent, you just have to be comforted to know that there's programs like that for sons, and our other programs, certainly daughters. As you can tell, we're very, very proud of the Frontier Conference. And again, thank you so much for being here today. Media, after Wally finishes, we will have our coaches available for individual interviews if you would choose. And just thank you for being part of our day, and thanks everyone for attending. Wally?
Well, Chuck took away one of my lines about going to Vegas, because I wouldn't want to take any of the guys with me to go to Vegas and bet on anything, because Kent and I were looking at the polls from the last 3 years, and you guys weren't very good picking winners. So we'll see how we do this year. Once again, the coaches are not allowed to vote for their own, and Southern Oregon is the pick to win the conference. The Raiders received 6 first-place votes. Montana Tech is picked to finish second. They received 1 first-place vote. Carroll College is picked to finish third. They received 1 first-place vote. And then it comes Eastern Oregon, College of Idaho, Montana Western, Rocky Mountain, and MSU Northern. But once again, I wouldn't take any of this and any stock in it, because you guys haven't been right yet. So that's it. Thanks everybody for coming to our media day. You can pick your coaches and interview away, and thanks again.
picture. Maybe you got to take a few.
That's better. Good. Thanks, guys.
Good, it's kind of a funny thing that perspective, to kind of be away, but not really be away for 2 years, but anyway, to kind of, and see, the things that you did that you saw, yeah, those were good, and then the things that you know, able to look back and see where you should change those. And I was pretty fortunate to hire a real good one in BJ Robertson. There's a lot of things working with BJ that I really like, those good things, and brought that to the good staff and awesome kids, so that's the recruitment guy, several years, so the transition was amazing. I was
Oh, awesome job, man. Awesome. Anytime that you need anything, just call me. Let me know, okay?